I'm fixing to walk in.
Okay, well, I thought you said the holiday. All right, I'll be there in just a second. I'll just wait until you guys get out.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right, we got to go in.
Yeah. Okay, the door will be unlocked. Oh, yeah. We'll do this again. 2 minutes, so we'll get there. Here? Yeah. That's what it says, public defenders.
Appointment with UNEDITED at 3.
Okay, and your name?
Robert Bodell.
I will give her a call and let her know you're here. Thank you, Robert.
Big old lava looking rock. No, try to do some meditational breathing. That'll slow your heart rate down.
Robert? I'm just taking Robert.
He's with me.
I know, but I'm just taking you.
He's with me.
I understand that, Robert, but I'm only taking you back. We're gonna be all the way down the hall. Here, why don't you hold on 1 second? Let me go around you so I can close this door so you can use it. Good? So I have your email about what you wanted to discuss. So why don't you walk me through what you think is relevant and why?
Alright, the first thing we're going to discuss is a document entitled Rules of Evidence 1002.
Yep, I have it.
Fine, would you explain that to me?
It says that unless there's an agreement, the original must be required.
Mm-hmm.
Or a duplicate of the original is also acceptable.
Correct. And in the email that I sent you originally, pointing out the documents in there, you saw 3 audio files of my arrest.
Yep.
And also in these documents you see here, you see one there that in the Trooper's Operations Manual that shows how they are required to have video of all traffic stops.
Yep.
And those 3 audio files proves that there are audio files of the traffic stop.
Okay.
And those documents also show that any breaks in those recordings have to be accounted for.
Okay.
And those breaks in those recordings prove that they were edited.
Okay, so why do you think that?
Why do I think that? Because I was there.
Okay. So, I mean, I've reviewed the audio and the video, both from your website that you claim is different than what we have, which I can tell you right now, I've reviewed the videos you have on your website, which I still tell you you need to take down. And I've reviewed what we've sent you and what we have, and they are the same. They are not edited. They are the same videos. So I guess I don't see
I'm talking about the withheld videos.
I don't
3 of
understand
the
what
4
you think.
vehicles have not turned in their videos. And I want the unedited video, which you seem to be glossing over,
But I'm
of my
still saying,
arrest.
I don't
They
understand.
wouldn't have those 3 videos unless there was an original.
Okay. I guess what I'm saying is I don't understand what you think has been edited out. Because I've watched the videos. I've listened to the audios. It is a complete thing. There's no stops there. So I don't know what you think is missing that I need to see.
Why is there 3 videos?
Because it becomes from 3 different officers. Each officer has a body cam.
No,
Not a body cam, sorry, the audio.
there's 3 videos from Brian Glenn.
One is the trooper car.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's from 3 different parts of the trooper car. That's
In
why
the
there are 3.
BCGO file, there are 3 audio files from Brian Glenn. Those prove that the original was edited.
Okay, but I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying, how does it show it was edited? What are you saying is missing?
How do you get 3 files without an explanation? Their operations manual says any edits, any breaks have to be accounted for, and they're not.
Okay, but what I'm trying to explain to you is, these are trooper cars, okay? They generally have 3 different viewpoints.
And they should have 3 different cameras.
And they do.
Then where are they?
They've been turned over to you.
Not to me.
Okay. We have, and I'll write them down.
Everything that's up there on the internet is what's been turned over to me.
Okay. We have 1 audio from 911 reporting suspicious people. Okay. We have another audio file from Miller. Okay. And 1 from Baker. Okay. We have 1 from Robles. Okay. The 3 videos are from Baker. They've got 1. got the video. I'm sorry, not the video, because it's the troopers. That's why there's only one video.
There's three audio files. The only video files are of Eric and his wife, or of Eric and his DUI stop. There is no video from my arrest.
Right, because these are troopers.
And they're withholding the evidence.
They're not withholding the evidence.
Yes, they are. If they're not withholding it, then you produce it.
Okay. I don't have
And
any.
that goes for the original audio file too.
Okay. I don't have any.
All those documents that I have provided to you, I'm going to include them into that complaint to the Alaska Bar.
That's fine if you think you need to.
I know it's fine
fine.
because if you said anything else, it would be a license in a second.
Okay. Anyway, what I'm trying to explain is that these are troopers. They generally only have.
And they lie.
Okay. Robert, I can't have a discussion with you if you don't let me finish talking.
Hmm.
I have let you finish talking to explain what you think is missing.
Well, I'm not
So
done.
let me finish talking. This is a discussion. We go back and forth. So it's my turn to speak.
All right.
As I'm trying to explain to you, these are ASTs, the Alaska State Troopers. They don't have dash cams. The reason why there is only one is because there's one car with it, equipped with it, okay? And that was with Eric and Katie. The reason why you don't have it for you is because it was a different officer with you, not the same one. They are not going to have the video.
And those documents I provided you requires that all traffic stops have video.
Right, but unfortunately not every single car in Alaska has video. There are only certain
Only one in
trooper
four,
cars. There's only certain
even
trooper
though they're
cars.
all required.
Okay, there's only certain trooper cars, and there are only certain offices apparently that have them. So it's not uniform. They don't all have them. They're
Their
not hiding
operations
anything.
manual says all.
I understand what the operations manual says. However,
There's
unfortunately,
plenty of evidence here to show that there's been tampering with evidence.
okay, but if you can let
You
me
can
finish
either get those
speaking, if you
files
can let-
or you can get this thrown
I
out.
can't get something that doesn't exist, Robert.
You can get those files or you can get this thrown out.
Okay,
Period.
it doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
Yes, that's how it's going to work this
No.
time.
Robert, unfortunately, you dictating what you want to happen is not how it works. So, as I'm explaining, we
I
have
am not
everything.
trying to send you to die in a cage.
Okay, as I explained,
You are trying to send me to die in a cage.
I'm not sending you anywhere, Robert.
Yes, you are.
I am
You're
your
working for the
attorney.
prosecution.
No, I am your attorney, and as I'm trying to explain, we have given you everything that we have. We're not equipped with
Then why don't those documents refer to me? Why are other people allowed to have all the documents?
And you do have all the documents, Robert.
There's 4 documents in there that are all blacked out. Why are
Yes.
they blacked out?
Because you are not completely entitled to all the information, in that you're not entitled to have other people's social security numbers, ASPN numbers, or date of birth. That is because it's a privacy issue.
Well, one of those theirs is entitled 6 Weeks Late. It was written out by Lakeisha Lee, who's the wife of a cop. By the way, all the witnesses are family members of Charles Lee of the Homer Police Department. They're all family members of cops. And Lakeisha Lee, she was brought in by Michael Zweifeld, who's number 2 in command. He's not an investigator. He's the one that's in charge of the cover-up. Now, since you haven't even seen all of the recordings, I'm going to tell you what happened. We ran out of gas.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm taking notes. So why don't you walk me through? What date was it?
I think it was January 6th or 7th.
of 2020?
Yeah,
Okay. So, around what time of day was it?
at a little after midnight.
Okay. You said we ran out of gas. Who's we?
Me, Eric, the guy out front, and his wife, Katie,
Okay. Where were you coming from?
coming from his house
Where's that?
in Kasilof.
The street or the town?
It's in the police reports.
Well, I understand what the police report
I
says,
don't know his address.
but I'd like to confirm with you what you're telling me. So you're saying, so the town Kasilof?
Yes.
That's fine, I don't know the exact address. Okay. See, you're coming from Kasilof. Okay. Where are you going?
And we were going to my house. I've been at their house for the evening eating dinner. At about 6 o'clock in the evening, his wife is the only one that I drink with because she's a happy drunk. And between us, we had about a shot and a half to 2 shots out of a brand new bottle 6 hours before, and then we ate dinner.
Around 6 o'clock?
Yeah. And
It went, and, okay, sorry.
And on the way home, his gas gauge didn't work, so he ran out of gas, and it was on a hill, so we had to
Okay,
coast.
hold on one second. Did you have any more to drink after the 2 shots?
No,
Okay, so you're driving home around what time?
about midnight, 1 o'clock.
Okay, and you said the gas meter, the gas thing didn't work?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, how do you know it wasn't working?
because it hadn't worked since I've known him.
Okay, so you know personally that it wasn't working?
Yeah,
Okay. So you ran out of gas. Where'd you run out of gas?
and we coasted back down the hill, and you can't pull off the road there because there's a big fence along the side of the road.
Do you know what hill it was?
The address is in the documents there. There's only one house there. It's right on the edge of the swamp.
Okay,
There's
so
a big guardrail there.
why I ask you is that if you want to go to trial and you decide you want to testify, these are going to be things you're going to need to know. That's why I'm asking you details.
I have dementia. I don't remember anything, so you're telling me I'm not going to be able to testify on my own behalf.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll have to.
I'm not concerned with going to trial because I know I'm going to end up dead out of this.
Well, I'm.
So I'm just telling you my story. So take your notes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna want to talk about the dementia and everything else too. Okay. But we'll finish going through this and then we'll come back to that. Okay. So you said coasted down a hill. There's only one house on that spot on that street.
Where we pulled off at, we had to back in.
Okay.
And we pulled out right close to the end of the guardrail. We're still on the right of way. We weren't even in his property. And when Brian Glenn pulled in, there was room for another car to pass between him and I, so we weren't blocking the driveway. And he went up the house, he came back, and he didn't have his flashing lights on. And in those documents, you'll see that his cameras come on when the flashers come on, and they have a manual switch. So he left those lights off intentionally so there would be no video. He planned this. And when he came up to me, he didn't ask if I was all right. I was sitting in the passenger seat, and that's when I trusted cops. I even opened the door so he could see clearly that I was in there, what I was And he didn't ask me if I was okay. First thing he asked me for was a driver's license. And I told him, I says, I gave up driving, and if you check my record, you'll see that I gave it up. It wasn't taken from me. I says, I gave it up. I had a head injury that I don't function well enough to drive anymore. And he used that later. Remember that. He knew that I had a head injury.
Okay.
And then he asked me for a driver's license. He hadn't even determined that there was a crime or anything. He asked me for a driver's license, not an ID. A driver's license. I told him I didn't drive. He didn't ask me for an ID. I was going to tell him I had an ID, but he went on with what he was doing. And I told him, I says, well, here, you want to talk to the owner of the car? And he kept on asking me questions. And the second time, then is where the recording starts. When I tell him that this is the second time I offered my phone to talk to the owner of the car. That's where the recording starts. And it has him on the phone talking to the owner, Eric, out there. And Eric says he was driving, he has the key for the car. And you'll also hear in there, you'll hear Brian Glenn telling the troopers that stopped Eric that they have the bottle. But there's no way to account for that statement. So after he talked to them and determined that I was just there because they broke down and I couldn't walk that far, he keeps trying to get me to admit that I'm driving while intoxicated without a license. And I told him, if you're going that route, I said, I'm done answering questions. And he kept trying to force me to answer questions, and he got me upset. And I said, I'm done. And he keeps answering questions, and I stood up. I didn't walk toward him. I didn't raise a hand. I looked him in the eye, and I yelled, no. This is on the edge of the highway where trucks go by using engine brakes. And I yelled no once, and that was considered assault. He actually filled out a victim's complaint, which you have a copy of, and naming him as the victim for yelling no at him. And when I did that, he tased me. He already had a gun drawn on me. He tased me twice, then he maced me, and then when he maced me, I turned away from him, and he came up from behind me, and he hit me from behind. And when I came to, they had me down, handcuffs, holding my face in the snow so I couldn't breathe. And you'll hear in those recordings, you hear my muffled voice. That's because they had a hand on the back of my head holding my face in the snow when I was already handcuffed. And when I was in jail, they made fun of me, and they made fun of the fact that I crapped myself 5 or 6 times in there. And they made me wait several hours one time. And they made me wait an extra day because I told them that I was beaten for using my right to remain silent. That's false imprisonment. And that tells me that if they ever get me in jail, all I have to do is say I had drugs and I'll never get out. And I can't protect myself against rapists and murderers. So yes, this is a death sentence for me. Then the next break in the recordings there, I don't think that has anything to do with me. I think that's something that they said.
Which part are you talking about?
There's 3 recordings in there.
Yep.
The first one is where I tell him I had head injuries. The second break is where I exercise my right to remain silent. So that counts for 2 of them. And then the break that makes the third one there, I think, is something that they said.
Because I'm going to just play it because I don't know which part you're talking about. Is it possible at all that you got up out of the car and took any steps towards the officer?
No.
Okay, is it possible at all that you were yelling and screaming at the officer?
Absolutely. I yelled no. One word. No.
Aside from no, is it possible that you were yelling?
No.
Okay.
I raised my voice inside the car, but he wasn't listening to me, so I stood up and I looked him in the eye and I yelled it.
Okay. Because I'm going to tell you, what we're going to listen to is a little bit different than what you're telling me. And that's why I want to listen to it together.
No, what we're listening to is what you heard, but what you're not hearing in there is the parts where they're doing this.
Well, that's what we're going to go through right now.
Okay, we'll just start with the part where he walks up and asks me for a driver's license. And he admits in there when he's talking to another cop that he only asked for a driver's license.
Right now, you're not being charged with anything. Right now, I'm just talking to you, okay? Right now, it sounds to me like you're lying to me, okay?
Oh, I'll give you my name and address.
All right, I've already been talking to him,
People are
see?
just walking down the street, you know, giving me a ride, except that there's nobody walking down the street.
Yeah, well,
There was
okay,
somebody
you
walking
you
down the
got a
street.
fucking right.
And
They're
you
only
don't
going
even
to my
know,
fucking house.
you don't
every
even know
goddamn
their
mile,
names. You don't even know their names. So,
Yeah, I do. His name's Eric.
Eric
And his
what?
wife's name is Katie.
Eric what?
I don't know what his last fucking name is.
Is he your
I
friend?
don't know what your last name is either.
Is he your friend?
Yeah, it's my fucking friend.
My last name's Glenn. Do you have his phone number?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's his phone number?
I'll do better than that. I wouldn't fucking call him and let him talk to you.
I'll call him.
Fucking piece of shit.
What's his phone number?
Now, he says in his report I was uncooperative from the beginning. I gave him his phone number. I offered him the phone number.
Yep.
So you lied right there.
It could be referencing the swearing and the yelling. I'm not saying that.
Is that
right.
against the law?
It's
That's the
absolutely
freedom
not.
of speech. That's using the freedom of speech as evidence against me.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm explaining to you what he's likely using as the case is.
That's not a crime. He can't use it as anything. It's not evidence of anything.
This is...
We're just walking past the radio station.
Where are you coming from?
Not sure the name of the road. Wolverine, I think that's nearest.
Wolverine, okay, and what do you guys doing right now?
The goal is to go to our friend Bob's house and get gas and return to the car.
Okay, alright, so who was driving the car?
Me.
You were? Okay. Alright, and you said you were passing which radio station?
I don't know. Well, it's not a radio station anymore. It's now just a,
So, KSR.
Spit spot, cell, Wi-Fi tower.
Okay. And what is the name of your buddy here in the truck?
Bob.
Bob what?
Bodine.
Bob Buddy?
Bodine.
Bodine, okay. Alright, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Alright, bye. MTS South 41, 27, 29, Bob Bodine, no debate of birth. The units in the area, there's 2 individuals passing an old KSRM. One of them is claiming to be the driver of this vehicle. The passenger has a bottle of liquor in his pocket that he's trying to hide, saying he's not the driver, supposedly. So we contact the people who are walking if you're available.
Stop that a second. He says trying to hide. That's part of what's missing in there, because he points out I had a bottle in my coat and I had it up like this. So I had it up here, and it was thick. It was a
Fireball.
quart, I think it was, a quarter of a pint. But it was sticking a third of the way out there, and it's sitting right here. The door was wide open, and he accused me of trying to hide it.
Okay.
Go on.
The individual's name is KD, Kilo Alpha Yankee Delta Echo Echo, the one who's walking. Mr. Bodine, I'm just trying to talk to you, man. Sir, this is a private driveway, okay? Okay, but we were called here, okay?
I was on right away.
10-9. About 105.
I'm gonna stop it. Oh,
Sir.
okay, I've done this.
Sir. We need you to open the door for a minute, okay? Sir.
And that goes to the next one. So, I just have a question for you. If you were trying to talk to someone, like if you're trying to talk to me, and I just start swearing and yelling at you, how would you categorize my behavior?
When you're trying to accuse me of crime I didn't commit, how do you expect me to react? Would you like me to just step up and I'll give you a little kiss on the cheek?
Okay, I'm not referencing you. I'm just saying in general. If you were to approach someone and the first thing they do...
When a man with a gun is approaching me and trying to accuse me of a crime I didn't commit,
Okay.
I get irritated.
Okay.
And I told him that I had a head injury,
Okay.
and he used that to get me upset.
Okay, Robert. So what I'm saying is, if you had come into the office
He
today...
instigated it.
Okay, so what I'm saying is if you had come into the office today, and then first meeting you, opening the door, the first thing I did was swear at you and yell, how would you take my behavior? Would you say that that is
That's
angry?
not the first thing that was said.
Okay.
They cut out the first part.
Okay. But would you say that I am angry or hostile? Would you say that that would be that behavior?
What would you say if I cut out the first couple of minutes of our conversation?
Okay. I'm just trying to make a point here, Robert.
Okay, well, make a point that conforms with the situation.
What I'm trying to explain is...
When I walked into the office, I treated them with respect.
Okay. What I'm trying to make a point is that at a trial, and a jury hears this, and that...
If we go to trial and we have the audio and video, there's nothing more needs to be said. Introduce them and they'll throw it right out of court.
I will not be introducing them because they are not helpful.
You just said you would not be introducing them, is that right?
That's correct. The burden is, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish before you start talking. The burden is on the district attorney's office. The people trying to put you in jail, and it is their burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the crimes that you're accused of. It is not my burden. I can sit there and put on 0% evidence. They have the burden to jump over. They have to make it over this hurdle, not me.
Then you get it kicked out.
So if they want to put this in, they're going to have to fight to put it in. I'm not putting it in. It is not helpful to you.
Well, before I go to court, I have to prove that I am innocent beyond any shadow of a doubt.
Okay, you are...
Because you are the one that's picking my jury.
Yes.
And you're
Our-
picking a jury that's going to be favorable to the prosecution.
No, that's not what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
At a trial, you would get a say in help picking the jurors. We would pick them together. However, I am going
Until
to...
I get those documents, I'm not participating in anything.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Yes, that's how it's going to work here, remember?
No, that's not how it works.
I've been sentenced to death. It's just a matter of how I die.
No one has sentenced you. You've not been found guilty of anything yet.
If this goes away today, dementia doesn't go away. I will die of that.
Okay.
I've already had several head injuries since then from falls as a result of it. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. They tried to put me in assisted living before this.
Okay. Who is the doctor that you work with for your dementia?
It's the neurology.
Is it with the VA at all? Because I know some of your videos reference the veterans
Yeah.
people.
They pay for it, but I don't go to a VA doctor. The VA won't give me any treatment for the original head injury.
Okay, so they send it out to somebody?
Yeah, I go to a civilian doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Try neurology in there.
Is it just under neurology?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the doctor's name at all?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay. And how long have you been going to them for?
Well, I went to them before this, and they sent me for some tests,
Uh-huh.
but then this happened before the results came back, so they had to send me back for all new tests, because everything got worse with the beating.
Right.
I just needed a cane once in a while before the beating, and I could still write my name and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then since the beating, they had me in the hospital for seizures twice during the extra day that they kept me without a charge.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally turned me loose. Finally didn't even make me go to pre-trial because they were afraid I was going to die on them.
Okay. So what I'm having is I'm having one of our secretaries bring back our ROI, release some information so I can talk to your doctor. Because even if I call them, I'm sure they won't just talk to me. I need you to sign the release.
Okay.
Yeah. So is that the only doctor who you go to? Is there any other ones I need to know about?
Neurology. I got another. It's like a general doctor.
A primary?
Primary care, yeah.
Okay.
The hospital has all of that.
What hospital is it, do you know?
Here in town, or in Sabana.
Okay, let me just, can't use that. Is it the one near the, yep. Is it the one near the library?
It's the big hospital.
Yeah, it's the only hospital, it's in Savannah.
Yeah.
It's the only one I know. You tell me how this is gonna be the best for you. So. your names? Just have to sign it, okay? So I'll just do 2 for right now. You can just sign right there the best that you can.
I'm learning how to write left-handed now.
You've been a righty your whole life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'd be struggling too. I'm a right-handed person. And I'm gonna just take it and then give you the other one. One more. There's just one more. Oh. Sorry. And right where the X is again. Do you go Robert or Bob?
Doesn't matter. Bob mostly.
Thank you. I'll sign it now. So you said that after this whole thing happened, that your brain stuff was worse, right?
Yes, that plus I had another fall and then some kind of a relapse since.
Okay, but just directly after this,
Yeah,
you had to go to the doctor and they said they sent you for more testing?
yeah.
Okay, so that's stuff I want to know. That's why I want these to talk to your doctors. That's why I want to know. Okay? Because at a trial we can use that.
Right.
Okay?
Well, I went to them before this and after this.
Okay. Okay. Alright. So, where we're at with your case right now is it's got, I think, a pre-trial in January. So January 27th. I can ask for it to be set for trial in January. I want to be very clear though that it's likely will not be scheduled for trial for at least a month or so. And that's because there's a backlog of cases right now because of COVID. So during this whole past year, no trials have really been happening because the numbers have been too high. So in January, we got a new judiciary order saying they're going to start trials up again. Okay? But the courts are going to prioritize the most important cases. So obviously your case is important to you, but it's not a murder. You're not being charged with murder. Okay?
The longer it takes, the longer I have to live.
Well, they're not. No one wants you to.
I don't want a speedy trial. The longer I have, the longer these people on the internet are gathering information. You're aware that the governor's office doesn't get involved with ongoing cases, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I got news for you. They're involved in this one.
Okay, well, I haven't heard anything to that effect,
Well.
but my problem is several things first off with this website.
You've already made it clear you're not interested in my case, so
I don't think that's
I don't want you as my lawyer. You made it quite clear. In fact, you just now stated that you're not going to introduce any evidence in my favor.
That's not what I said. I said
That's
I'm not
exactly
gonna
what you
introduce-
said.
No, I said I'm not going to introduce this video. That if the district attorney's office wants to do it, then they can, but it's not helpful to your case, and I will not do it.
It's definitely helpful to my case because it proves that the audio there's stuff in the audio that's missing.
My job as your attorney is to ensure that we get out what needs to come out and to make the district attorney's office have to prove their case. Okay? I'm not going to help them do their job.
Now then get it thrown out.
Okay, I don't have any basis right now to have it thrown out. I don't have any motions right now I can make. So I can't, the next step would be...
Well, I have a email from, as a reply from DPS, I think it is, for Freedom of Information Act, asking for the unedited audio and video files. It was refused, and they did something, you know, for another hearing or something to get it, and it was refused to give. So there's a reason that they're refusing to release that.
Okay, so if I
And
can
that's
continue-
required by law.
Okay, so if I can
So
continue-
they have no plans of ever giving me a fair trial. That's why I have to prove myself innocent.
So if I can continue, part of a fair trial means that a jury has not been contaminated. And what that generally means is that they haven't read anything in the newspapers, they haven't heard anything on the radio, they don't personally know you or any of the witnesses. That you want to have a jury that's coming to it with no pre-ideas of what everything is. What makes that difficult is you calling into radio stations, you posting YouTube videos, and this website. Which
The
not only-
website's not mine, it's just about me.
Which not only puts up all the evidence so people can look at it and make a decision beforehand, but also contains our private conversations, which people should not be able to read.
Yeah.
We
Our
have-
private, that's what's embarrassing to you is private conversations. That's what you want taken down.
I'm not embarrassed at all. My problem is we have what's called an attorney.
Well, that's
consultation.
going to be the reason you're not going to be my lawyer anymore, because I want a lawyer that's going to support me.
Okay, and I will get to that in just a second. So, you know, I've seen your videos on YouTube. So how do you normally email with these supporters, or how do you message with them?
I don't have anything to do with them.
Okay.
I put one original video up, and it went crazy. Some 12-year-old kid come up and was asking about some documents and stuff, and he says, well, you want to put them up, you know, where we can work on them. And so he set them up where just he and I could work on them, and he's finding all these, because they're not even trying to cover anything up, which you're overlooking too. And I finally decided, you know what? There's nothing to be afraid of the truth.
Okay. So you're not in charge of this at all?
No.
Okay. What about your email? Is that you?
My email, that's mine. rbodell@yahoo.com.
So how are they getting all of the documents?
Well, they have a link to my OneDrive account. That's mine. Also, the kid there, he goes up there and he sets the documents up there after I upload them, so they're more understandable. And there's also a group of people on the internet that are preparing to build a timeline.
Okay. So, as I was trying to explain, this contaminates our jury pool because people who are able to read it or watch your videos or hear any of these things
Will know the truth.
are going to come to a trial with a notion in their head of whether you're guilty or innocent. And you can't have a fair trial if people already have a decision on your guilt or innocence.
I already have proof that they edited the audio files.
But I'm trying to explain to you because you've indicated more than once to me you want to go to trial and you want a new attorney. I'm explaining the process of the trial and why this is not helpful to you.
Well, you go do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I mean, it's your law license. The last lawyer doesn't, John Rivas don't work here no more.
And that's not because of you, Mr. Bodell. He took
Well,
a different job.
Well, that's fine. Because I'm going to send my complaint for him along with my complaint for you.
That's absolutely fine.
As evidence in a complaint against this whole office.
Okay. So as that brings you to, I mean, you don't get to pick your attorney. I am appointed to you. I am your attorney. Unless you hire someone who files some sort of entry of appearance, that I'm your attorney. That is it. You don't pick your attorney. You made it very clear you want an attorney, but as I'm trying to tell you,
and you made it very clear that, you're not going to help me, so.
I'm sorry that's what you're coming across. I don't know what I've said that has made you believe that.
Well, I understand now that it's my job to get this kicked out of court without you.
Okay. You are not allowed to file anything. You are representing.
I don't have to file anything.
Okay.
During the last court hearing, I think you were there where they said that I was recording.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I was listening on the internet. I wasn't even logged in.
And as we've talked about this.
Because there's people in here that can get in there and listen to all of those court cases.
Right, and now that we have spoken at length, if I hear that person again, I will make the court aware that that is not you. And I'll make the court aware of that. That's what I'll do about it. Whoever it is will probably get
I would
in
expect
trouble.
you to. Because I don't need no password. Like I says, these people I'm with, we have access already. All the courtrooms.
Yes, they're public courtrooms. Anyone can call in.
Yeah. And one of the people that's involved here, that's exactly what she does, is monitor court cases.
Okay.
There's several lawyers involved. They just aren't eligible to practice in this case.
Okay.
There's some that's going to be involved when this case gets kicked out.
Your case is not going to get kicked out, Robert. I don't know what you think how that's going to happen.
It all depends on you.
Well, my problem is you're not letting me speak and you're not listening to me.
I understand. I am going to have to prove myself innocent beyond any shadow of a doubt.
No.
Period.
You don't have to prove yourself innocent. You are innocent. It is on the district attorney's office to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You sit there innocent. You sit there at a trial innocent until proven guilty. You are not guilty. You are innocent until proven otherwise.
Well, those troopers are committing felonies. I believe editing those audio files is a felony. I have not committed a crime. The only crime I committed was being in a car that ran out of gas. I was beaten, tortured, and falsely imprisoned.
Well, so at this point you have two options. You can accept the offer, which you've made very clear you don't want to do.
And not a chance in hell.
Or we can set it for trial at the next court appearance.
I'm not going to court until I get those documents. You can do what you want.
I can't do anything. It's your decision whether you want to go to trial. So you need to tell me.
I don't care what you do. I'm not participating unless I have those documents in there, because if I go to jail, I'll never get out, and those documents will be there for the investigators who will.
Okay, and as I've explained to you repeatedly, we have everything. There's nothing else that we haven't given you that we don't have.
Then you explain why there's missing audio files.
I've attempted to explain it to you, Robert, but you don't want to listen to me.
No, you haven't explained why there's no explanation on those files, why there's a break, those documents, it clearly says that the only reason that it would be is for something serious, like somebody want to give testimony that they don't want recorded, and you have to say that in the file. It says right there in those documents, and they are not in there, so there's a reason for that. And it also says in there that it has to be in a continuous recording. It's all in their operations manual and in your rules of evidence.
Well, I guess we're at an impasse right now, Robert, because you've indicated you don't want me as your attorney. You have indicated in the past you want to go to trial, but now you're saying you don't want to go to trial.
I want to go to trial, but I want to be able to defend myself.
And we will.
I'm not just, once I walk in that courtroom, I'm just putting myself up there to the first cop that wants to grab me and throw me in a cage and let some murderer rapist beat the shit out of me.
Okay, so I will set it for trial at our next court appearance.
Fine.
I'm asking to confirm with you, Robert.
At your next court appearance, I would suggest that you ask for those files.
Okay, and as I've already explained, there are no additional files.
I guess we're at an impasse.
I'm not sure.
We just wait it out.
I don't know what else I can, I don't know what else I can advise you on.
Yeah, we just wait and see what happens when these other investigations get going here.
Okay, well.
You know, one of the cops there, if you go in there, if you got those up in there, go into background checks up there and pull up Joshua Robles. He's got some felonies.
If you even have the right Roble.
His age, date of birth.
Oh, I've seen these, and it's not good. It's not good. Yeah, this is very likely not the same person. A cop is not going to be allowed to have felonies and be a cop. These aren't accurate background. They are off of the internet.
Yeah. Well, why don't you get us a background check then?
And look for what?
And see what his real background is.
I can certainly put on the list when I prepare for trial, but as you've indicated you don't really want to go to trial, I don't know what to do.
I want to go to trial, but I want to be able to defend myself.
And we will defend you by questioning the witnesses, cross-examining them, and putting on our own evidence.
Fine, you go ahead and do that. But I'm not walking in that courtroom.
Okay.
I'm not signing my death warrant until I can prove my innocence.
And you fail to appear, they can proceed without you at trial. You could be found guilty at trial, and they will come and get you and put you in jail.
No, they will come and they will put a bullet in my head. I have body armor. It will do them no good to shoot here. They will have to shoot me in the head. No choice. That's how it's going to be. If I can't defend myself, it's obvious that the troopers are framing me. It's obvious that nobody gives a crap about what happens to me. It's all about protecting Brian Glenn. It's all about protecting Michael Zweifel because he's the one that's responsible for his training, and he's the one that's responsible for the cover-up. So you see, I don't have a family to help me. All I have is me.
And me. You listen to my advice.
Yeah. Like I said, you want me to take it down so that the people on the internet wouldn't even the people on the internet wouldn't even know about me, would they?
I would like you to take it down because it's not helpful. It's detrimental to your case. That's why I want you to take it down.
It's proof that they edited. If you get me that original audio and video, I will take it down. I'll see that they take it down. Because I can go to court and I won't even need you. I'll be able to prove that those files were edited, or what was going on in the edited parts of those files.
Alright, well, I don't have anything further for you today.
All right.
Is there anything else?
Yeah.